Should I go? Okay. I have a question for the seed lending folks. Could you touch on really briefly on the legal issues associated with it, and have you guys?
I'm glad you asked, because that is a really important thing to go away from this today, knowing that in July, the Department of Agriculture in Pennsylvania challenged one of the seed libraries in Pennsylvania because there are laws that have been developed to regulate commercial seed companies to make sure that what they're developing and making available to the public and to farmers and everybody who uses seeds to make sure they get a really good product and they get what they are expecting to get. But they were applying that to the seed library, and so basically, the seed library backed down. So they stopped providing the informal seeds that people were cultivating from their own gardens, and they only now are offering the commercially available seeds. As of today, I don't think that I haven't heard of anything in California where that's has been raised as a legal challenge, but seed libraries across the country now are really concerned and are in the organizing phase to be proactive should other states and their agricultural departments come forward and challenge the legality of what we're doing informally in our seed lending libraries. So pay attention. There's a lot of updates that you can get on mailing lists. There's let me just quickly, the name of the legal team that is working on this issue in collaboration with the Richmond Grows. Rebecca Newburn is really involved in this. It is, let me just quickly, because you can get on their mailing list. Sustainable Economies Law Center is addressing the legal aspect of this. So you can sign up to get an update. They're recommending that we proactively contact our state agricultural department and just inquire, and also to let them know that we want to sustain the purpose and function of our seed lending libraries. But this is something just to stay tuned and follow and be ready to get involved.
I have a question for Emily and Rachel about ESL clubs. I think Hilda spoke a little bit about this, but do you, at your respective programs, group at all into like beginner versus intermediate or advanced levels of English skills? Or?
We actually do, and I forgot to mention this, but in the beginning, well, we have one ESL volunteer that is an ESL teacher, and so she comes like twice a month, and we kind of let people self-select, so we'll number people into groups when we finally get into our bigger discussion group, and she will just kind of go more into sort of an English class. And so we just say, if you are new to speaking English, then you can join Pat. But that's basically all we do. And she's not there every time, so I don't know if it's necessary.
I have a question. Oh, actually, please finish. We don't. And actually, I think it sometimes is... it would be better if we could. Our volunteer structure is such that we don't have the capacity to do a beginning group, but a lot of people do come in and say, I'm a total beginner. And I say, that's great, you're in the right place. Go in with everybody else. So the club we run turns out to be best for generally people that have a mid-level, that aren't very experienced and aren't very beginner, but we do have people that are beginners that come every week and people that are very experienced that come every week. So.
Just sort of feedback on that. Our very small program, led by volunteers. One of the volunteers is with our literacy program also, and she's sort of directing those that she feels are ready to graduate to Project Read, the literacy program, or our community learning center. But they can still keep coming for the food.
I have a question for, I believe it's Cheryl. You said that you do email blasts. Do you have a system that you're using for doing so?
No, it's a system of just email. So thank you for asking. What I do is I collect the emails from story time. So you know how you have your traditional story time in your library? All I do is I just pass around a clipboard, have people write their emails. I put it in email contact lists. I email blast them maybe like once or twice a month. Sharon's shaking her head because I know she has a huge list herself at Mountain View. So, yeah, just email blast. But the best thing to do is the parenting clubs. Maybe in your area you guys have parenting clubs that are available. They have like groups, and you send out one email and it blasts like 1,300 or 3,000 people at a time. So those parenting clubs are very important. And again, it's just one email, and you capture practically thousands of people in 2 minutes.
Thank you.
A question for ESL. Did you have to do any marketing to get people to come in, or was it just all word of mouth?
Word of mouth is the most important way it gets around. We put flyers out. We sent it to our adult school, and we've had flyers like in the corner store and in a few places, but pretty much that's all we did.
Same. I mean, we do have a monthly calendar, and we advertise that way, but yeah, pretty much word of mouth.
Okay, so I have a question for Paul and Michelle about the bike programs. Did you get any negative pushback on those or resistance to try something so new and different?
Take it, Michelle.
I'm trying to think. I don't know if a lot of people wanted to do it, but there were definitely people in the system who were avid cyclists, and I easily had over 10 staff who said, hey, I want to help you with this in any way possible. I probably didn't get I didn't ask for any funding. I did request, staff get paid for their time, and I think everyone got paid. I wouldn't say it was a huge, yes, let's do this. Our communication strategist, Stephen Brewster, he championed it from the beginning, and he's in our administration, so that helped that he really liked the idea. We'll see about this next year.
Hi, I have a question here.
Paul, did you want to respond?
Yeah, let me respond real quick. So, no. At our library, we're given a lot of leeway, and if I can prove that it's going to connect with the community in any way, usually I get a go-ahead from the director and from the city. So that's how it works.
I have a question for the pop-up library folks. Nicole, you mentioned, I think Daniel asked about the connection to anarchist politics and the tradition, very egalitarian tradition. And that differs a lot from our circulation practices at our libraries, which is very punitive based. Is there anything we can learn from pop-up libraries in the practice of giving away books and not expecting the same kind of relationship with our users? Is there anything we can integrate into our practices in circulation at our libraries?
The first thing I think of is just the incredible importance of books in the home for children and what a huge difference home libraries make for kids. Not just that children visit the library, have cards, have access to the library books, but that they have books in the home. It makes a huge difference. So I see that as an incredible argument for giving away books, not really caring if they come back. Yeah, and the focus of the Big Lift Little Libraries is completely on books for kids. So that's kind of where I see that.
There's one over here. Bill?
This is for Jen Laredo. I didn't get to ask the question, but so, if the program was to help sort of raise teen good feeling toward adults, that there are adults out there in the community that care about them, how is that affecting the teens? I mean, what have you seen that you can tell us about the success in doing that very thing for teens?
Awesome question. Thank you. If you've worked with teens, you know that sometimes getting feedback from them is complicated, right? And I have to say that I consider their willingness to participate in the program to be the biggest endorsement, right? That they're willing to take a book to a teacher and then pose for a photo with the teacher, or willing to take a book to their drama teacher and then have the whole class participate in doing this kind of photo shoot. They're continually excited to suggest new nominations for new readers. And I think, to me, that's the biggest indicator. I haven't had anyone come to me and say, oh, it makes me feel so good that so-and-so read such and such, and obviously that would be awesome, but I don't think I don't know many teens who are like that. I've gotten a few, really, Mr. Burns is gonna read Twilight, that's awesome, but they're not kind of responding to it in the level of like, oh, and that makes me feel valued, but I have to trust that that's happening deep in their hearts. Yeah. You feel like yeah, okay.
This question is for Diane about Soundswell. How do the musicians get paid for their work? I'm not sure I understand what their incentive is, besides publicity, obviously.
Well, the library pays, if it is an EP, we take a minimum of 4 songs. It must be commercially produced, meaning, they didn't just record it with any equipment and burn it to disk. 4 to 5 songs, we give them $50. 6 to 8 songs, $75, and then we consider a full LP to be 9 songs or more, and we pay $100, and that's for 2 years. So members of the community can download it. And after they've filled out the license agreement and signed it and submitted their work, after 4 to 6 weeks, they get a check from the city of Santa Cruz. And, I have a budget line for Soundswell that it comes out of. So, does that answer?
That's enough for them. Obviously, you have people who are interested in doing it because it's publicity, and it doesn't sound like a lot of money to me for a musician, but it must be enough because you're getting people interested in doing it. I think it's a great idea.
Actually, different musicians have different reasons for doing it. Some of the musicians just love music and want to get their music out there, and some of the musicians aren't even working musicians for money. The musician part of their life is just something they do for fun. A lot of these people are willing to donate it, and I make them take the money. Other people really do look at it as just another way to get their music out into the community and to be more well-known, and any avenue works. Some musicians are really poor, and that $100, might go a long way to help them produce their next album. Or, and then some people are just, like I said before, really, the historical archive aspect of it is what kind of draws them in, just to be a part of that historical record. So, that's another big piece.
Diane? My question's for Diane. Is there an effort to try to capture some of the bands that came before 2012 and 13, like World Entertainment War, and well-known bands from Santa Cruz?
There isn't a concerted effort to do that yet. When I bump into individuals that have connections, I try to massage those relationships to get that kind of connection so that we could even just talk about it. But right now, I think we're still kind of in the core collection building phase with the current. I think that we've maybe got about a quarter of the local music scene to actually, respond and submit their music.
Thank you.
All right, I have a comment. You guys look great up there. Seriously, this big panel thing, it's awesome. Thank you all very much for your contributions to the day and for sticking around and asking follow-up questions. But a round of applause for our presenters, everybody.